This is the Authority Partners podcast.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're all happy and healthy. And welcome to Authority Partners podcast. My guest today is Amila Kurtovic, and she's a head of talent management at Authority Partners. So let me introduce her. She's a dedicated HR and personal development professional with 14 years of experience in partnering with business leaders to achieve corporate excellence and drive talent management initiatives. Amila started her career in marketing and PR, but not so long after that, she discovered her passion for people management and directed her career towards HR, providing HR consultancy for different industries. She holds a master's degree in management and organization, specialized in human resources. And trust me, she's so much more, but we just touched the surface. Our previous podcast was about the art of negotiation, and today we will talk about the art of feedback. Hello, Amila. How are you today?
Hi, Asia. Thank you for this nice introduction. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm really excited that I'm having HR super professional in the studio and that we will talk about feedback in Authority Partners. Well, to me, feedback is a vital for growth, but I'm sure you will cover many crucial aspects to it. So, Amila, what is feedback? As this is a hot topic in business world of today.
Exactly. How to give a proper feedback and how to give a constructive feedback and why do we need feedback are one of the hottest topics of talent management in business in general. But it's also one of my favorite topics of talent management to talk about. Of course, we have many definitions of feedback, but the one that I like the most is that feedback is the process of giving constructive information or advice to employees or leadership based on their performance, behaviors, or skills they demonstrate in the workplace.
Well, just to clarify, feedback is not one-way street, right?
As any other sharing information process, feedback has two sides. There's giving feedback and there's receiving feedback. And it can be communicated top down, bottom up, and peer to peer. Most commonly in the work environment, the manager's duty is to give feedback. But also, if you're managing your career, you want to get feedback as well. So the overall goal of the process, I would say, is to continuously improve and function more effectively towards the common goal. And for Authority Partners, that is excellence in everything we do.
Right. How do you practice the feedback in AP?
We at Authority Partners believe that providing continuous and timely feedback to employees, or as we like to call them, consultants, is one of the essential components of our success and our productive company culture. In Authority Partners, we really have a strong culture of practicing feedback that dates back in the time when Authority Partners was established. And this culture is improving continuously. As an IT company, we have the luxury to self-develop feedback and performance evaluation tools. Hereby, I'm referring to information systems designed specifically to our needs that can support our culture effectively. What I personally love about our culture is that we ask for feedback of our consultants even when we were redesigning our feedback system in 2019. And for all of you who would like to know more about AP culture itself, please check out the podcast on topic AP culture, how to know if you're a match, by my colleague Hannah.
Oh, I love that one. It was really my pleasure to host Hannah in the studio. On what exactly you give feedback in AP? Is it just on performance of consultants?
Our feedback culture is not reflected in the way we give the individual employee feedback, connected, of course, to their performance. But we are also giving feedback all the time and on all different levels. We ask and give feedback on our retrospective meetings. We seek for feedback for every internal process that is about to be redesigned or newly introduced or even abandoned. So we really see the value in giving and receiving the feedback. I would say that's just the AP culture.
Right. And how does your self-designed employee performance feedback system function?
Okay, so first let me start with making a distinction between the two talent management systems we use that are complementary but yet have different approaches. The first is our employee feedback system oriented towards AP core competencies, and the second is our performance evaluation system oriented towards job or career path competencies, because we believe it takes both core competencies and job competencies or skills to actually be a productive AP team member. I know our focus for today is on the feedback system, but let me just briefly clarify. AP feedback system is designed to provide our team members with feedback for a set of skills that are linked to 7 core competencies our consultant need to have in order to be the right fit for our AP culture. And those 7 core competencies are knowledge, quality, collaboration, commitment, communication, integrity, and customer focus. And this system is used to giving feedback upon observed behaviors. Of course, these behaviors can be demonstrated while performing a concrete task that is linked to a goal set in performance evaluation, or just a situation a consultant faced in daily work. On the other side, our performance evaluation system is focused on evaluating the job-related or career path-related competencies or skills, all nicely put in a SMART goal definition. The two, as I said, the two systems are definitely linked and combined provide a powerful tool for managing individual growth in AP.
I know that your core value is excellence. How do you combine excellence and your feedback approach? Does it put extra pressure on individuals because excellence means you need to give always more and more and more? Just the curve goes up.
Yeah. Having excellence as our core value number one, of course, can put that extra pressure for our supervisors when it comes to giving constructive feedback that will continuously drive our consultants towards being excellent. I'm sure you heard about the famous quote by Aristotle about excellence, and it starts something like this: excellence is an art won by training and habituation. And we at AP, we at AP really do believe it is. The way we train our managers and all others is to use our feedback system as a coaching tool while focusing on successes. Excellence cannot be learned by studying failure. It can never help my colleague succeed by holding her performance up against a prefabricated model of excellence and giving her feedback on where she misses the model and then telling her to pull the gaps.
Well, that's a really interesting point. What do you exactly mean by that? What precisely is excellence in this sense?
Well, excellence is actually an outcome. So I prefer to take notes of situations where a project or initiative runs smoothly, or a bad collaboration suddenly turned into the best collaboration ever, and then turn to my team member who created the outcome and say, yeah, that, awesome job. So by doing this, I pull my colleague's attention back towards something that she did and that really, really worked. So actually, what I am offering her is the chance to gain an insight by highlighting a pattern that is already there within her so that she can, recognize it, anchor it, and recreate it in the future. And plus, her understanding of what excellence looks and feels like will become more vivid within her. So we at AP believe in power of recognizing the excellent behavior and then giving feedback for it. And, by giving you this example earlier, I wasn't nearly as interested in praise as I was in the learning process. And we believe that each person would improve performance mostly if he or she could see, in slow motion what his or her own personal version of excellence looked like in practice. And Asi, just to add, we have a section in our monthly newsletter dedicated to sharing excellent outcomes of our teams that are created during the particular month, and it's called Excellence in Action.
Well, that's really inspiring title. Excellence in Action. I really like it. I would like to see myself there. Do you really then give out just praises as a feedback in AP? What is the logic behind that culture of giving that kind of feedback? Is somebody always needs to be the best?
Yeah, well, our feedback culture is oriented towards recognizing successes rather than failure. That is true, but it doesn't mean that we do not share a corrective feedback as well. I would say not critical, but corrective. So our self-developed feedback system offers 2 options for giving feedback. And those two options are praises and suggestions. Praises are used for recognizing desired outcomes, and suggestions are used for recognizing areas for improvement. We encourage our supervisors to really approach the process of giving feedback individually. For some team members, giving suggestions for improvements is just the best possible way to get an excellent outcome. And for some, praises serve as the best coaching mechanism to just enforce the excellent behaviors in the future. But whatever kind of feedback we choose, it is important to mention that it's done by using the famous STAR model of giving feedback.
What is a STAR model? What does that mean?
Well, the STAR model stands for S, situation, T, task, A, action, and R, result.
That's Smart STAR. It's a smart acronym.
Yeah, it is. Well, S, situation, and T, task. So hereby we enforce our managers while giving the feedback to reflect on a precise situation consultant faced or a task he or she was given. For example, the feedback statement could start then with like, the client sounded very upset on today's meeting, or while you were doing working on the monthly KPI report and so forth. So you're connecting the feedback to a concrete situation or a task. And the more specific it is, the more personal your feedback will be. Then when we talk about the A, action, in this part of the feedback statement, we want our managers to focus on a certain demonstrated action. So what exactly did the consultant do? This could be, of course, positive or negative, but all in all, it's the key to reinforcing ideal behaviors or best practices within your team. So if the same situation or task occurs again, nobody has to improvise much, and they all know exactly what to do and what action to undertake. And R, the result, what do we want to cover in this part of the feedback system is what was the direct result of that action? So how did it directly remedy the situation or complete the task? So you might say, for example, awesome work, she thanked you for your help and left the meeting looking relieved. So by giving this kind of feedback, we highlight what the result of particular action was.
I understand. And it's really kind of a very, very smart way to approach in a behavioral manner, I would say, to analyze somebody's behavior, business behavior, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Who is giving feedback to whom? I know traditionally this is being done by managers, but in IT world especially, isn't it valuable to hear what your team members have to say about your performance, some kind of 360?
Oh, most definitely. Our company's success came primarily out of our team's effort, not so much of individuals. And we have kind of built our feedback culture around that. What does this mean? So every individual of any AP team, either in engineering department, business development department, operations department, is collaborating with other individuals within the company while working on a certain project or just certain task. And our feedback system, besides the top-down feedback option, gives the opportunity for everyone to give peer-to-peer or bottom-up feedback as well. Peers are the people who often work closely with you on day-to-day tasks and might sometimes have a better perspective on your performance during your collaboration than your supervisor does, especially in the IT world. So we just want to open all channels for feedback coming from different directions within our organization so that we have more ways of targeting the areas of improvement. You know, the feedback is the breakfast of champions, and the people who want it are the people who want to improve. People who receive feedback and who really eat it up and seek for more know that it's going to make them better and stronger and make their muscles grow. Having in mind that there might be some situations where individuals are not receiving as much feedback as they would like to, or the received feedback is not that clear, and then they need to ask for more explanation around the feedback. That's why we have created the reply to feedback option in our AP feedback system that allows our consultants to, apart from saying, hi, thank you for your feedback, they can ask questions to get more out of the received feedback.
Well, this is really good. As we said before, this is like two-way communication. So it's a good tool to avoid any negativity or in any negative context that you don't have like the opportunity to communicate with somebody who provided you with the feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really a good system. You mentioned in your introduction that you do not give only one-to-one feedbacks, but you also use the retrospective meetings for that. What sort of feedback do you give out on those retrospective meetings?
As an agile company, as an agile IT company working with Scrum methodology, retrospective meetings are one of the occasions where feedback is being actively shared. Retrospective is a team meeting, also called a ceremony, held at the end of each work cycle in an agile project. And the general purpose is to allow the team as a group to evaluate its past working cycle. In addition, it's an important moment to gather feedback on what went well and what did not, and collectively decide on action items for future improvements. So the whole ceremony is actually about gathering feedback, and more feedback.
Mm-hmm.
We at Authority Partners love to add a little extra flavor to this already well-designed concept of sharing feedback by focusing again on the learning process of it.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like after action reviews, right?
Yeah, the military has pioneered a
I
concept
do.
called after action reviews, where after every mission, soldiers would come back, gather in a room, and they would have this conversation about, okay, so what did we hope would happen, what really happened, and what made a difference. But during the whole discussion, there's never finger pointing like who's at fault or who made a mistake, but it's really all about what we can learn and how would we do it differently next time, and how can we use this past mission as a learning experience. And in AP, that's the tone of the conversation we use in general and on our retrospective meetings, focusing on the learning process. And by doing so, we make our team feedback conversations very, very productive.
That sounds really great. I'm sure that many companies would benefit from using this similar model of feedback. Amila, before the closing, is there anything that you would like to add to this?
I would just like to encourage everyone just to give feedback, to give a constructive feedback. You might be using the STAR model, which in practice is very, very efficient, and just use that opportunity to just empower excellence.
Perfect. Amila, thank you so much for being with us. It was a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for listening to Authority Partners podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.